Hello, children, welcome back. So, we were discussing the third chapter, ruling the countryside. In our previous video, we have seen what happened after the company became the Nawab of Bengal, or after the company was appointed as the Diwani of Bengal. So, what they did was they introduced a new system of revenue collection called permanent settlement. Under this system, jamindars were appointed. In fact, they were the Rajas and Talukdars. The company appointed them as Jamindars, and their job is to collect tax from the tenants or the farmers. So the Jamindars gave land to farmers, they grew crops on them, and part of that crop was given to the Jamindar, and again part of that was given to the East India Company. So that was the arrangement made by the company, and they called it permanent settlement because they thought that if you set a clear cut tax, then the jamindars and the farmers will work hard to make more money out of that. For example, if the government says you have to pay 20 bags no matter how much you grow, so people will definitely want to grow more because whatever they get beyond 20 bags they get to keep. So they thought that this will automatically help people, but it did not work. Why? The reason was that they were charging too much. Suppose you can grow, let us say, 30 bags in 1 acre of land, and the government charges you 20 bags out of that. With a little extra work, maybe you can grow, say, 2 more, 3 more bags extra. So will you bother much? Perhaps you won't bother, because what you are getting as incentive for your extra work is very little, because most of what you grew was taken away by the government or by the jamindars. Nobody bothered. So this system did not yield the results the company expected. So the company introduced a new system. This was known as Mahalwari settlement. So earlier system was known as permanent settlement, and the system that we discussed today is Mahalwari settlement. Let us see what this system is. So in the northwestern provinces of Bengal Presidency, so look, just imagine, think of India map, northwestern provinces of Bengal, that means present day Uttar Pradesh, parts of Uttar Pradesh. An Englishman by name Holt Mackenzie, he devised a new system, and this system came into effect in 1822, much later. This came into effect much later than the permanent settlement. Let us see the highlights of this system. Under this system, an entire village was viewed as a unit. Earlier, it was a jamindari, or a piece of land held by a jamindar, a talukdar, or raja. So now, instead of jamindar, they are taking a village as a unit. Village is known as mahal actually in those areas. So that is how we got the name Mahalwari system. So what did this man do, Holt Mackenzie? He said, let us consider the village as a unit. That means the tax will be collected not from individuals but from the entire village. And who was given the charge or the responsibility of collecting the tax? The village headman. So earlier the jamindar was collecting the tax. Okay. Now it is changed to the village headman. So in a way, the village headman has less control over the land, but more responsibility. He has to collect tax from all the villagers. So the company won't go from one person to one tenant to another to collect tax. It is the village headman who has to collect tax from all the tenants, and he may keep some of it, and the rest he has to pass on to the East India Company. Okay. Again, the demand was to be revised periodically. This is important difference between permanent settlement and Mahalwari settlement. In the earlier system, the demand was fixed. That means for every land they fixed the revenue, say 20 bags, 25 bags per year. So that's it. No matter how much you grow, you have to pay this much. But in this new system, they did not say it is permanent. They said we'll revise it periodically, say 5 years or 10 years. Okay. So this is not permanent. Suppose your land yields more crop maybe we'll increase the tax. Suppose you are getting less crops for various reasons, maybe failed rains or whatever, then the tax will be reduced. In a way, there is no permanent settlement. This taxation was revised on a periodic basis. Okay. Even in this new system, the tenant has to work hard in his fields, and most of what he grew was taken away by the village headman, who again passed it on to the East India Company. So whether it is permanent settlement or Mahalwari system, the tenants suffered immensely. They suffered very badly because they were putting lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, after they got the crop, most of it was taken away as tax by the government. That means the East India Company. Let us see one more system. Okay. So these two systems were actually found in North India, in Bengal. And there was another settlement system called Rotwari system. It was introduced in South India. Let us see the highlights of this system. So first it was tried on a small scale by Captain Alexander Reed. So a person by name Alexander Reed, he introduced this new system called Rotwari system, and later on it was fully developed by Governor of Madras, Thomas Munro. Let us see. So this is a picture of Thomas Munro. He served as Governor of Madras between 1819 and 1826. Okay, and he devised this new system called Rotwari system. Let us see. So under this system, revenue was settled directly with the cultivators. So this time, what they did was, they eliminated the middleman. If you look at the first system, permanent settlement, the Jamindar was the middle person. In the second system, the village headman was the middleman. And this time they said, okay, let us do it ourselves. And the East India Company, they settled the tax with the cultivators or rotes. Rote is the word that means a farmer. The fields were carefully surveyed. So what they did was, they surveyed all the cultivated lands. They, for example, they go to every field, they ask the farmers, how much do you grow on this? If they say 20 bags, they say, okay, then your tax is, let us say, 10 bags per year. So like that, they surveyed every land. Is it fertile? Is it not fertile? And can it grow 2 crops? Like this, they surveyed every land and they fixed the revenue. So this was called Rotwari system. And one thing that is common to all the systems was, the tax collected from the farmers was very huge. They have to pay most of what they produced as tax to the East India Company. Okay. In the first system, the Jamindar collected the tax. In the second system, the village headman collected the tax. And under the Rotwari system, the officials of the East India Company themselves collected the tax. But all these systems of tax collection were very oppressive. So the peasants, ordinary people, the farmers, suffered immensely. Suppose you are making, let us say, you are growing, say, 30 bags of paddy in your field per acre. And if the government says, please pay 3 bags out of 30 bags as tax every year, then you won't bother much, because they are collecting only 10% of your income. But unfortunately, under these systems, they collected huge tax. Maybe more than half of what they grew was taken away by the government. And was the government doing anything for them? In fact, very little. See, this is a company whose intention was only to make profit. So they did not bother to spend the money for the benefit of the people. Most of the money was actually taken away by the East India Company. In fact, they used the money to buy goods from Indian traders, which they sold in Europe. See, in a way, all our wealth was going to England. And if you read the history carefully, history of this period, there were so many famines. I talked about only one famine in Bengal in 1770, but there were so many such famines, not just in Bengal, but in various parts of India. It was because of the policies followed by the East India Company. So whatever wealth we created was gradually taken away to England. So the East India Company was making huge profits. The people who held shares in East India Company, they were growing rich in England, but our people were dying. We have already told you that in 1770 almost 1 crore people died. That was a big number actually. At that time the population of India was much less, maybe around 15 crores or 20 crores, and out of that 1 crore people died, that too not out of disease but that too out of hunger. What a pitiable condition it was. Okay, so anyway, all these conditions gradually led to the Sepoy Mutiny and subsequently the freedom movement. But we should understand what happened. We should see the various process that resulted in the misery of the people. Okay, so in our earlier chapter we talked about how the East India Company gradually acquired territories and political power, but in this chapter we are focusing on the administration, how the ruling was done by the East India Company. Okay, and I hope the topic is clear. I hope the three systems are clear. You have to remember the names of the three systems. They are permanent settlement, then Mahalwari and Rotwari. Under permanent settlement, Jamindars collected tax. Under Mahalwari system, village headmen collected tax. Under Rotwari system, the East India Company officials themselves collected the tax. In all the systems, the farmers, the tenants suffered immensely. Okay, so this is how the tax collection took place in the administration of East India Company.